TV eso ebreno ewie dru nsem bebre na emu amanebo ene ede ba be diamond no modia ne som be kan ye ho entintan fidie no KFM TVGH on Facebook and afa YouTube otwaya de ekoso e wo TV ne so no benya bi e wo mframemu na bibia no etimi akoye nti Facebook a KFM TVGH afa so YouTube no sa pepepe wo follow Facebook na wa bomodia subscribe wo YouTube ne so etibi ede amayen sem no edoso ene nwumre epa na sana no yenda aboafo wono mase debia wo mo ene boye chidom emietimi ede ebremu yendi kan ko talent microfinance aseye wo mo de sikasem ho asem ene ebon de rache obi bia pesika bobra wo pebesia ensi ho ketwa bi da ho ede aye adwuma no wo se bra ba gibi sanse sika de enye omo na kro mo de bebre na abansi ho ketwa bi ne de to ama se beje kobobra na de wuye bia ne nkoye emfa ema omo krabata no womo edoso ye pa manta me yedunsia no omo abomode edure ye nsia mu edu no penifo ye nhihye ye nti de ben wa ye talent microfinance no obo anan kopie mu wo ho a sikasem asem bia no behwe etimi no waka ama bibia na ye kama etimi ede ama ye free ho na de odi wo ne ye nko eye KFM musical center eno so ye instrument wansem ehu de ro ne nwumeme bo ede akere won sorry ahodo ankrankre eno obi a wo hia instrument e won anim ati apo na ahodi umebo ne so da form odidi udada adwuma be chede ama ono wo mo se bra beji bie sanse ni bebrebe mu de enye odadwene kra de ane so bebo anan akwa kopie mu obi ayo mu obi a nti wo incremantem ha obekwa akra zongo lane inkrabata ne ba ko wo sanso ne ko ba se wo asantemantem so ado ani be chemu edum wo mo ne Sambra Hotel no ebo enimhwe instruments ni ho aka de bia fiti speakers drums combos guitar microphones bibia ai fine instruments will be no kwa ade se KFM musical center menye bia ma ama bibia na ye kama etimi ede ama ye free on ye nko dadaba tech hub and also phone sene ho aka de phone bia wati din bia no kopie mu na so ye obetimi ama obi na bibia ye kama etimi ede ama fiti yam ekosi iPhone no kwa obema obi na chese onkita wodi hu nsem na eba nso konframem ne hu nkro no benyina no behwe ama bibia no aye kama ede ama ne cha kwan ne ka na hyi bia ye omugina paita kwa station e hyen no eho pe na dadaba na josio no ewo upe phones ni bi etu akwa koton akoho obema obi wodi a use nso no upe source sound upe bi dia chodo fu bia ni nyina phone se ne open ni bia no okọ behwa e bibia kama etimi edi amao iti yefa asida ma aboafo isansa omo adaroma ene etimi betina ade nsema hodo no ebrem semne doso ene enwumrei na de edi mo akotene bi enie yebebo era eye mrahye bedwefie na yedom kuma omo wo ho no makasa omo nsem omo kanyina no wo mo kire se onbonyamfo eye justice Paul Bafoboni a mpanyifo hwe anim so metoto na no wetimi ababe chief justice so my Ghana wo mo kire se nkebe ya saadi ya ni dibre no genje ntungu baby sanse ma me get truth eno odi sefata sansem ne kra yenkan wieye ntemu nsem no betie ewo kase no emu sanso ene ebebo era nsem foforo mu edi amamo eye environmental protection agency mpanyefo nso edi hihye foforo kra ba omodi ohye eto chamfan ahodo eni mfidi ahodo ye kan firi obi mu man so bepie mu man Ghana ni nyina no yedidi galamse ho adwuma no wo mo chese omodi ohye ene tabono beto so se be ya entimi mba mepie mu man Ghana ni nyina no mo de hwe ani mu se galamse ntokwa kon no eto no betimi abras sanso ne bebo era edwedie ensemo na ya de se dom kuma mo mra hye bedwefie asan akasa mo chese sidi na ho de etimi akohwe nei yetimi akoye ni mo sa kwan ne so a yenya ho kredi ho mfinhia na aduosia no kebe ya aseda no bi wo ho a yemfa nkoma enka ne mampani na nado dan kwa akufu ado sanso obetena so no bo ne homodin ye pa ene nam so ma sidi na ho de na ba bedum pempen so e wosisi a sanso na enigide ensem no two face di bia ono so e de nsem bia beto ne tentan fidie ne so ani nyina no aya aseda nsem no de kwa ma mom do no epe ne nyum nyina sanso re nyum to adwuma no emfinhia na eduonu enum ni ho aseda no ode abegu mframem na nyum obeti bi e wo kase no emusem afoforo bi meka we ho ani nyina no don hwe ba kontem na mede ba bedan ode anso obeka ye ho na metimi asomo na masomo ye midi no Afia Fosuah Oduahoma Sresrebidi from Afia Mebasia. asem akwa babiem yimre no nsia kase no na matena aprechi me aye krado pa de ba besim nso di anu so se obefaste no seat belt no sanse my krado so ye krado na mitimi do famu wo sa kwan no eso me hye nsem na se na nwumre entimi emfa ma odia ye kwa ye dom kumomo mra hye bedwefie ni nyina mu no yenka aka ye ho ne ebu nkompon kohwe ye chidie si ye mreka krani na eye ma me get you daraba isaba tokuno no na ye chief justice so my Ghana ha na nkofo bididi adistrede kodan his excellency John Dramani Mahama chem se ma me ne be yankompa mo no papai edi wosie yoyo ene watwini dibre ne sensen eti abedwekuo emo mo hwehwe nsem ni mu sanse na mampanyi hwe se de obe bia no ebetime gina ne mra kwan so a emru mra enti amra nti ye September boso me ne da na edi kan no na abedwekuo ti omo no report a omo ye hwehwemu fa sansem ne ho no omo de kodan na chese de omo kanyina no ne kwan so pepepe enam so ma Ghana mampanyi de osie yoyo epamo ma me get you de efri ni dibre ni mu a Sabre ni munmunyafo Paul Bafuboni Justice Kennedy Nwono ono no boni bi se ombe acting chief justice wo man Ghana ha na eye na wotwem yete hwa na nkrata free ye mrahye bedwefie ba ye chemu se eye appointment committee no mo hwe ni mu se November bosomi ye mu eda ye ni mu aye edu no ombehwe aye ntutu ye de ne megu akwem se be ombetotro munmunyafo Paul Bafuboni ano se be ya di bra boni bi se acting chief justice no bibia koye ma no no yi ne nsem anu ye ma no na bakosem niema hodo a waye ne nsem kekemu no betimi aye adwuma no ne yedi ne gu nsenie ni no se fatade a na cheso na eba be chief justice wo man Ghana ha na ye dom kuma mo mrahye bedwefie ete sansem ni omumu no ya ometiko kumum so omo ntiase ne entiase ekina ema ye mfa papa nkogina eye appointment committee nenum entoto na no sanse ma me get to the kwan omo fa asuji di brand free ne semu no enya de se fata kran so omo de omo gusu egina omo nan so pa ahwe ni mu se asem na ye court dem kwan omo de be kwa kopiem se be ya ye ntimi ntoto papa na no mane be chief justice o man Ghana ha omo gina omo na man so people pa ho nsem no dom kuma omo mrahye bedwefie gina omo nan so de nsem bebre na to dwa KFM TV nsem omo kan no ye to aso sei e de ama
Kono had been suspended, I believe, sometime in April, and then the country has not ground to a halt. So there's no need to be in a haste to consider all these processes. Part of our democratic dispensation is that anybody who is aggrieved by any administrative body, whether it's a constitutional body, executive or parliamentary body, has a right to proceed to courts. And it's important that we give meaning and effect to these provisions that are in the Constitution. Not to say that the Parliament is not independent. The judiciary and Parliament are both independent but coordinate in status. And in order not to, cause a lot of confusion, our own standing orders provide that when there are matters still pending in courts, Parliament should hesitate in considering those matters on the plenary. And I think that this is one of such instances where Parliament must tarry a while for the processes to be completed at the judiciary before we can proceed. Yeah.
Mami Ekia Amwakono, Eye Kasamafo Abedichire, Edema Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Baumia, Kanema Penia Abedichire, or my Ghana ha. Wano swaba be kasa nsem no de kwama eye the National Democratic Congress NDC amenu kuno chema wo mo betena so ne bohye bebrebra no mo hyehye ye hwe ni mu se Ghana nkyekye ne nkan kɔ no betimi akɔ nanimu na nsu de bia be wona ne omo ne nam tentan fidie ne so no mo ka ne mebia nsem fata ne nyina no chem sa ye propaganda wo sese bio ne ma hodi omo hye ho bɔ no ho adwuma no wo so mo be na emom ne ma bia nsem fata no na no mo de nam ba bia akɔye se obi a wontimi ne ne mo se meka hyire de bia no de da nanim ni ne emom de wada o se sa pepepe na the National Democratic Congress NDC amenu ko no wonom eye
concerted effort on social media by accounts that are known to be propaganda tools of the NDC, pushing, essentially seeking to muddy the personalities of these people. So it has gone beyond prosecuting people in court to dirtying them in public and trying to create an impression that, okay, the previous government was engaged in all of this just so they can have some breathing room because they have failed woefully on most of their promises. Where is this their 24-hour economy, 1 job, 3 shifts, 3 something? I mean, I don't hear about it anymore. And these are launched. It's been launched. Do you know anybody who's a beneficiary of that?
Practice in the ports.
Did you know
the
ports running like that for some time now?
In fact, in truth, it's just MPS that's been running it at the ports.
That wasn't the promise of the NDC Ghanaian people, that the ports will run 24 hours. They said every job would be 1 job, 3 shifts, 3 people. We were here when the unemployed nurses and teachers went on strike. We were here when the labor minister was making a point that he cannot employ those people. So if you can't employ 40,000 people, how can you run 1 job, 3 shifts, 3, whatever it was? Obviously, it was a gimmick. And so to move us away from those kinds of conversations, the next day they put somebody on a public show trial like this. And let me repeat again, the MPP has no problem with putting people through court. The former president himself, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, instructed all his appointees to stay in the country to face accountability. True. I am looking forward to the party clearing its...
Fosuah Oduahoma ekia mo akone nsem na mu no san so dey to dwa wo kyerem se hu behia ye pa se kobasi ye bo obi din di dibre bi hye ne nsa na ebre ne so na wo sore free so ayenhwe ma akuntabuo mapa entimi enkoso na kobase sebio se MPP amenyoko no na aba na ne ode an nani akohwe ndisi amenyoko ne so na oye ne ma binum ensem fata sanso ene kobase ndisi amenyoko ne ba tumi mu a na omode omani ekwa akoche MPP amenyoko chese sa ne ye ne suban no enya de se betimi abo ne nyina mu nkutabuo afa no yenhwe ma no kwaridi ene prepepe yo entimi enkoso ne enja se debio no eya ne de ya amane oseme kobasa se ne yehwe no mu se bibia betimi akwa kowie ne nya nsem bi pomu ase bebre no eya na eya de se betimi enya ne se mu nsem ne ne bi ode kan ho no ye to aso sei e de ama.
I believe in I think the whole concept of oral or of bringing accountability for public servants is not something that is strange. It's not something that is new. If we remember, His Excellency even set up, the former President Nana Addo set up the office of the Special Prosecutor because he was so invested in accountability. As young politicians coming up, one of the worst things I hate to see on my post is somebody just ascribing to you that you're a thief because you seem to be a politician, somebody that's never held any public office. I don't know where I could have stolen from, but that's the perception we've created about people in this line of work, which I find sometimes might be unfair. But it's because of actions like this, that's why people assume that anybody in politics is a thief when it might not be true. So we have to walk a thin line between accountability, sanitizing the system, and allowing the Ghanaian people to believe that okay, people set themselves out to do this work. Of course, there are benefits, but it doesn't mean that they set out to loot the state. But we cannot achieve that when there's always a constant concerted effort by opposition parties, sometimes in government, you know, when there's the tussle.
Depends on who is in it.
Yes, to constantly paint the other as corrupt in order to win political power. It's something the NDC did brilliantly when they were in opposition prior to 2024. One of the main things they ran on was that these people are thieves, kick them out, and we'll come and do something right. And so they come, and it's very obvious that they're under a lot of pressure to prove those allegations and the things that they said. I don't think Hamza actually watched the entire press conference because, yes, anybody is allowed to make any statement, but the caliber of the person and the podium on which he was standing is no small feat. It's not the same as me sitting here and saying that so-and-so is a thief. Like, I mean, they did a lot of that in opposition and it didn't go far. But this is the Attorney General essentially calling someone a criminal before he has even walked the person through court from his investigation. And he wasn't that emphatic to draw a line between maybe this is what I found. No. The press conference even degenerated into how many bags his wife has and so she has 61 bags. And I mean, how is that relevant? Now it's a crime to have 61 bags.
If the AG is convinced that these are proceeds.
No, so tell us, you stole this at this point. Like, give us the evidence of why are you holding the press conference? Because you think he has misappropriated funds. So tell us how he did that. That's actually why I tuned into the press conference. I wanted to understand the facts of the case. If the the facts of the case that he could put out. And I'm here listening to 61 bags like it's a crime.
He's yet to go to court, so he can't present all his evidence out there.
In the same government, we have ministers whose wives take care of them. We have a champagne socialist who lives at Airport Hills. So if it is about doing lifestyle audits, then it should go across board. Let's see a lifestyle audit of everybody and try to understand what it is. But if you do a press conference and you are alleging wrongdoing, we expect to see a less populist approach. And I think that's what this whole conversation and discussion is about.
Ochi muya ya de senadom kuma omwomra shebedwe fie no na ensembebre na no mo hwegu anom de kwama munya for Dr. Dominic Eyini ya Attorney General. Womo che se ensembi wo hwa hu hia ye se wa keka ne niema abomu no ko fa nkopie mu ewe ye court dem na nso be mu no ne nam tentan fidie ne so no cheche mu bebre na Ghana fo binim so e ka niema binum ense e fata Ede found and no much said there be in some ahodo ni endi won from him name mu court dem san say ho and ranitimi adwuma man ye hwehwe ani musi en sabetimi aka bia no yenya e wo saa bia ye no e wo no de nsem we e beto dwane nam so e ma yes Hamza Suhini wono edom the National Democratic Congress NDC amenu ko no wokoye communication team na hono so aba montin o de atodwa wo chem say won de one Dr. Dominic Eyini Attorney General ne ya adwen ye pa san se dwuma wo ye ne sa pepepe ene de na akwemu won fom ranti amra bia esan se de ekoso e wo man ni mu no esefata setimemu ni bia ehu de ekɔ ne de eba inti se bio so betantentan fidie ne so na wo de sansem nyina atodwa ne kwan so ano no won fom mra bia ono so nsem wo de kan ho ye to aso sei e de ama.
When it comes to the Attorney General's outfit, maybe they need to revisit the 1992 Constitution again. It is clear. He's not only minister responsible for justice, he is also the Attorney General of the land. And so his role has a dual responsibility.
True.
One, as an important player when it comes to the governance architecture in terms of providing timely information to the Ghanaian people, and also as the #1 legal representative of the state in court. And there's the need for us to create that distinction. And so as part of the government's agenda of carrying the people along, of being accountable to the good people of this country, his role as minister responsible for justice requires that at every step of the way, he keeps the Ghanaian people aware of the work he's doing as Minister of Justice. And that is in tandem with the principle of accountability as far as democratic governance is concerned, and access to information by the Ghanaian people.
Yeah.
And you see, that is why I am disappointed when I hear people make references to the effect that, oh, presumption of innocence, and so the Attorney General has proceeded to declare these people as being guilty, even though no court has done so. Perhaps they need to listen to his press engagements again. When you are a lawyer or an Attorney General in his position now, and you file charges, we have what we call the statement of offense and particulars of that offense, which is your charge sheet. It's a public document. So if your particulars of offense says that on this day you A, B, C, D, within the jurisdiction of the court, engage in an act of blah, blah, appropriation of something that does not belong to you. It is because the Attorney General, in preparing the charge sheet, has already come to one conclusion. The evidence available to him convinces him that you are guilty of the crime. That is why he has decided to proceed to court.
Very well.
And so before he gets to court, if his investigations tells him that Mr. A is guilty or is likely to be guilty, and he organizes a press conference to make the facts available and to inform the Ghanaian people why he thinks that they have a question or they have a case to answer, there's absolutely nothing illegal about it. Perhaps people are confusing the presumption of innocence. It only comes to play when a charge sheet is before the court. And give me an example. Any of the cases that he held earlier press conferences on that are before the courts, have you heard the Attorney General addressing press conferences on, say? The presumption of innocence is effective when you have a charge sheet before the law courts. That is why he's refrained from running commentary on the issue of what's his name? Albert Odiboy, and I hope I got it right. Odiboy, for example.
The Signals Bureau.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have you heard the Attorney General making statements to the effect that indeed we have done this, we have done this in relation to that case? Because it is now official before the law courts, and the presumption of innocence kicks in fully. So people must understand that the framers of the 1992 Constitution were not simply sleeping when they decided to put in many of these constitutional strictures.
Ogusu share ye nwumre no nsia kase no e wo KFM TV eso yenda eni ne enkohwe de ekoso e wa apomuden ensemo na fimpimie no eni dunkure 2019 mo e na apomuden ensemo no ye mpanyifo ye nhihye ye kra ne nyina no wo mudi dwumedie kase e hye dwumekuo bi ane e from say Lightwave Health Information Management System ensasa o monhwe ma ya apomuden ho nsem kaye no entimi enko nanim nanumu ena soafo no hwe saa soye ho munyafo kwabana minta akando echem se saa djuma omode hye se ekoyi nsa no wo ma anye ni ye kura ekowi ase kura na chese $100 million ekodi omo nsa no edjuma no ma anya nkwa nkoduru ba bia ene omo ye hwehwemu no sika ne bia fa ba bia edjuma ede hye omo nsa soso na anko sika pra ho nsem no akwa akoye bibia wo chese eye company na na se edjuma ku no womabu man buka takese pa ai no ensem fatakra blackmail kese mu ehu ne mu eduru pa na ekoyi etimidi abo ma emu ne nyina na me no kase ne de omo chese nsakrai mapa ba wo mo di edwuma no asan ya share ye Ghana Health Information Management System ano so mo so mehwe emma se ne eku edi kan ye de show mo so mentimi anye no mo mehwe man nsakrai mapa ntimi mbrem na de ye hwe nim si yensa betimi aka e wa apomuden aso ye ho nyina no bibia betimi akoyi.
Avoid these disruptions and the shutdowns we are experiencing. Although we didn't have any contract with the vendor as at the time we took over, we indicated to the vendor that the ministry was ready to sign service maintenance agreement covering the 450 health facilities. Don't forget that the software is and was not for the state. That is why it's called LEMS, Lightwave Health Information Management System. It's not for the state. In the agreement, we indicated that before we sign such an agreement with you, you have to hand over the data to the state, and you must give us administrative access to the service. The vendor insisted that those clauses must be expunged from the agreement. We cannot expunge those clauses from the agreement because it is a state that must take charge of these data. So the vendor decided to switch the system of as and when he desires and as and when he demands what. And this has gone on for some time now, more than 2 months. And for the past 2 weeks or so, the system has been completely down. If this is not blackmailing, I don't know what it is. At that point, what was important was to find a solution to get out of this mess. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the good news is that we have a solution. And the solution, in finding the solutions, we have taken cognizance of the issues that have gotten us here. And so it was the issues we were resolving one after the other. What were the issues? The issues, one, was that the software didn't belong to the state. And so when we are going for any new software, the software must be for the state.
was ansem ni mon monya for kwabena minta kando sign so the to dra wo chem say ye kofu from enyon ba be hwa ma esua ye hwe apomde wonsem kan etimi akonenim na se ne yin e hwe say adwuma won aso betimi akoso e wa ba for kwan so no wo mo hwe anim say ye nefua no ennan e no mo de beto ho a ne nyina no o mehwa ma bibia no etimi akoye na wasansem ni mu o chechemu na wotwe bia de o befa so ye eko ni be ya ebetimi aboa ama system no a etimi aba form no o metimi apege mu ye na ahwe aboa ama de ehwe anim si en sabeka e wa pomudin semu no bibia etimi akoye.
Again, we realized that we were going through these difficulties because the system was monopolized. It was only one person we were dealing with. What is the solution? The solution again is that out of the 950 health facilities, only 450 have been connected, and therefore we have an outstanding of about 500 health facilities. Going forward, we will open up for companies and players in the sector to bid, provided they meet the necessary requirement. So that we'll open it up and they will all go through the exchange, the middleware, so that in future we will not end at where we are at the moment. The plan going forward is that in the next 1 week, we are going to begin with the teaching hospitals, the regional hospitals, and the highly populated district hospitals, to roll them over onto the system, the games. In the second week, we'll be looking at the rest of the district hospitals, and then in the third week, we'll be looking at the polyclinics, the health centers, and the chips. In the fourth week, we'll do the mop-ups. So I am confidently announcing to the good people of this country that we have a 4 weeks plan that will get us out of
na yenda eni ton cry di kan embassy sia ye ba nsam no bebre na egu ho a me tese mo e di ama mestre ye ba sisia.
Fraba edwaso ni o yanom ehyen a use fuel we so yensesa oil na wo hia ene ni key ehyen egumechi nyina eye lip moto Giomi anase nami eyemu bia won sabeka wo KFM Limited e wo Ghana ha lip moto abefo cancer abi yanom emwedene sanso efe wa hwe interiors here ka hear me timusi see and ye friend on lip moto e was 3 modes of driving obetimi a switch so open temo a obe na sports mode so person will save you battery obetimi use economy mode na so won pentem na wo pe normal riding so a ye friend standard wo charge your battery within 6 hours e betumi di wakokuma ase aba metre 310 kilometers enti woni how ubetumi so the 3 hours fast charger a charge na mana you full bonama na wako okuma ase aba say no me try the aka no Giomi ni awo hia ne key make sure say key ne ben wa wo hwese na interior on etie na black and white papa so no FSN yo wa hwe screen tentin e bo ma hu car no battery aka na ma hu mileage nso wo so when so the etu kwan 320 kilometers and sana was a charge ubetimi a charge in 6 hours fast charger ye 3 hours abefu efidie yenso ubetimi a drive no in 3 modes a standard sports and na say economy so wo pentem to say me a yanom choose sports what say ubetimi to kwan fi hakokubase ama wo battery ni bi so aka because a 320 kilometers we charge in 6 hours, obey me your full battery. Now when you fast charge and so 3 hours per you're set. Making sure so keen can hold yes I walk him. Will be a door na start. Chili Joby, black and white. Makuma swat. Man san cow dear. You check the akano. Yeah, no. I bet for the enemy back on you. The awunyano key. Making sure se key ne ben when yes I walk him. We no F. Let a woman so dance. A grey no ma would me no. The any hakakra, any dear mood. As also was squeeze me no. Wait, and more information and we are can win. Answer Bessia Bonum Papa, your friend entertainment. The Awiano, Anne. And that's over to me so driving in 3 modes just like the others. Standard and I say sports. So open tema. Car way so. A bet to me to Kwaya Kokumasiaba. 330 kilometers. The chamber would do crab to make Jesus so no one kakra and Sunday. Who charging 6 hours, sir? No. So bet to me so charging 3 hours. A fair no fast charge. And you know Munina KFM Limited. And they are big just so. Fraying near me sanka what the intentem. So open installment. A high purchaser. And change one nasi. We've got you solid. Yanume, on sabet me fidie mubia, ewo KFM Limited. On sabeke fidie no, na wechiano kakra. Wait, unyano bebia, aji KFM Limited. Fraying, ever sort out.
Pe apno a edanson. Edimu nesan FAA padia a Afrotino Doors Company Limited. Wa Afrotino ye wa apno BAB na de akwadari monumuno a metal Turkey security doors a was single 1.5 and a double sizes. Yasan a metal and wooden finishing doors. So pe apno a locking system be to say central locking, triple hook and a double locker. A Afrotino Doors Company Limited and a maker for a amount. Yasan our Chinese security doors are was single 1.5 and a double sizes. And into trending Chuchumika na found bedroom Afrotino Doors Company Limited near Wonoma Pa Edemau. So pe apno a efe a danso na sign edimu and as ope wooden doors aye de Afromosia Mansonia and a redwood ediayeno a Afrotino Doors Company Limited in Kwa and Albania B ewo. Yasan ewo wooden interior doors are every Turkey and a China ediaba ubenyaninya ebi ewa Afrotino doors and into trending bra na only Afrotino and beyejma na yadia yewonoma pa edimau. So pe pivot doors a free a year de eja entimishe and now pe PVC doors are a year cement doors ni nyano ubenya bi ewo Afrotino Doors Company Limited na de ye stronko ewo Afrotino hone se eye fiada enemy mni de biano ye was special promo edema ya tofo ina enunti bra na oni Afrotino Doors embeye ejma obehu ye twa kwan ewo Basket Junction I was Spinters obetimi afreyen ewo ye homa true for iso 0244 371 348 ana 0274 722 448 and obetimi so afreyen ewo 0256 321 708 Afrotino Doors Company Limited. Yes, is strong, stylish, and secure. Afrotino Doors Company Limited, creating quality homes.
Sonda semo akwaba biem found brand you menu sia kase no e wo KFM TV eso ye dan ho kwaje aboafo wonom krato guso aka ye ho sa akwan ne so ye se ye da se bebre ye twansem ne so ene anwumre yetimi e dia ma dia big push e ye dwumedia His Excellency John Dramani Mahama wo dan ne di bra obeso afna mu so ai ni na no ba behwe ama dwumedia hodo a eye mpanyifo ba betena so ye aban dada ekwa aban fofora ba omujai to ho a ebi okre kan rem ne ho nkro no ba no hwe so betimi aye amansisi mapa etimi akoso nanumu ene ne dua me no kase suafo hwe ya kwan ne akwantempo ho sem omanга na homunyafo Stephen Kwame Agboja waba be kasa ne sem no di tudwa chem se ne omu betena so no contract ahodo bebre na no de ama contractors so mo hwen siesie kwan no ntimi ma ekwan so nye jojo na ntini ndini na ye ka bia ewuom no mo hwe anim se anim anim ya no mbehwe etua sa contractors ni nyina aka no etimi e de free.
Months. The law says we pay them in 6 months. We don't intend to pay people in 6 months. Once the regime of payment improves, contractors don't really care whether there's a clause in there or not. And we are determined to use the big push as a template to start that without having written that to the contract. We pay them within a reasonable time. Then they can go and actually retire their indebtedness to the banks or the financial institution, and everybody will be happy. So we shouldn't be too worried about the clause of our interest on delayed payment. With regard to advanced mobilization, yes, if we had the money, we'll pay. But as a minister, we owe contractors we can't pay. And then the same contractor comes to get a new job. And then you are using the money to pay advanced mobilization. And then the certificate you owe him is attracting interest. Won't you rather pay off his debt and allow him to use his own money as capital to start the new project? I think we had this discussion with them, and we thought that it was appropriate. That is why we want to thank the Parliament for making allowance for some amount to be set aside for arrears clearance. The last check, I think we are paid almost 5 billion towards the arrears, and we will continue to do that. The Ghanaian contractor deserves to get his money back so that they can go back to site in our communities and work and make those roads safer for all of us.
Everywhere near to us on concern from an enumerator and to me farmer now copy more snakes as you might call me name penny for shedding she be brenegua quaimani and a babebois. I'm a mumma call my home jimua or more domay snake to call no makes me a move for the Cassiapa. Nay, Director General Edema Snake School no a munyan for que see a fair biny only Gina Paso Castle didn't answer weighing a 2 jassy.
Strategy was to grow using the banks as the first point of that expansion drive with our co-location strategy. We're not just limiting ourselves to the banks. So we'll get into spaces where probably even a district assembly can become a point of contact for SNET, where we station our people there to provide our services to the people in those communities. Additionally, we are setting up our virtual infrastructure and improving it each day, such that people can engage us without necessarily leaving the comfort of their homes. So those are initiatives meant to improve on accessibility and convenience to the people.
Lydia Lamisia can vary by one Minister of State for Public Sector Reform. So no so editor Jachem say almost sharing some designated my kono back common to my boy no collaboration be no metimi asha mo mutrimu po eno makuma so de so mbehwe animu amasage media no akoso no etimi gina namonso pepepe.
There are challenges of receivers, challenges of their operations, challenges of districts where there are no banks. What do they do? But in all that, they are trying to create a digital platform where people without banks can still access the services in their contribution and in their payment. Because currently we have a lot of pensioners who need to take their payment, and they are so old that going to the bank is another issue. And again, what is more striking is the telehealth. Telehealth is where they are going to provide health services to people through normal digital platform communication. I think I have the opportunity of seeing such a thing in Ethiopia. It is being done in Kenya actually. They have rolled it out. And I think that is an innovation that will go a long way to help their service delivery.
NTV Edia Mal, the Environmental Protection Authority, as we shema ye monthly mutimi ye kamane jojo no, Womoso Ababeka sign 70 nano, Womo HM se negalam se no, and many were mining ye pa, a buyen komu, Okofia send ye and Suan Suanaya potopotopota, are we ye pa, yen quiet and sassiano, di shebi ehye mu omo cancer asini fum tumu omo botom nti ne de ombedi ene de omo de beto hɔ ama omo benti ene omo nwene eya afoforo maka nyina ho ene nam so ama ene o message na ye kyerem se infidi ahodo aye carfi obi eman so eba anaf sempo de o my Ghana ha de ye ton ankofo binim to ekodi omo dada adwuma e wo ye kwaya ahodo ne yensu ne so ne bi ti se chamfan machines ne ho nkro no ba ne nyina no wo mo ba be hwe atwa ne nyina echi e wo my Ghana ha itu bia ye o se okwa akokra infidie ni from my foforo so aba be pie mo my Ghana ha no etimi abo ewura ye kwaye nim no akwa akoye de o pe no mo se de be nya de se betimi aye adwuma sisi akra san so mani abre se krodom ne nyina no mo de o hye ene tap no kese pa ena eto san fidi ahodo na from my foforo mu be pie mo my Ghana ubia nso awakofa aba be pie mo awi a wo hwe enu se obeton ne nyina o se de bi enya de so be masa akwan no ama se fidie no etimi aton kra ba be adwuma wo hwe enu se be san sense asende guso esenchiri me be ba ichiri no wo mo ho asem ebe ye mobo yi pan te ne due ehihye ne dwumadi afoforo kra ye Environmental Protection Authority wo so die gu akwemu eno no ho nsem kakra ena mede asomone ye konsem foforo mu ena enwumre etimi ye de ama ode ye wono ma omutwi eye fidie tetafo na ne ye omu bebre na ewo honom wo so aba be kasa nsem o mo kanyina no wo de kwa e de ama mpanyifo na enum no mo e de bi nso kwa ama National Youth Authority no NY mpanyifo mo kire se ne okopie mo ya akwan ne akwantempo ne so aposifo ho mo papa ensem fatakra wondi mfomso bi anasempo onye nieme bi a eye bone a no mpese mo fa kwati kwan bi so no mo pa asem e de shom so mo kire se san niema binum ne tibia binum a aposifo de omo efemu no enya de se etwa yi kwa mu nsem ne amane bono say eneti
Ghana, these two entities are seeking to merge so that we can bring all motor riding related businesses under one umbrella. And then also we are here also to let you know about some of our key grievances and then our recent encounter that some of our members faced with Tesano police station. That is why we are here.
The police harassment on the road is too much for us. That we are calling on the CEO to step in. He's also the deputy youth organizer of the NDC, the ruling party. So as his party is in power, they have promised us that they were coming to legalize Okada and help us have a lot of goodies. So we are relying on them to do their promise. They should walk the talk for us.
We are very grateful for receiving this petition today from the Motorcycle Query Union. We also want to assure you that we will do whatever we are supposed to do to make sure that some of the grievances that you people have leveled will be taken care of. We also want to thank you for recognizing the National Youth Authority as it being the umbrella authority for all youth concerned. We know that most of the people that are riding these motorcycles are youth. And then you are also contributing to the national development of the country. We know how the motorcycle has become a good business for most of young people that are also gaining and also making living for themselves. So whatever that we are supposed to do to make sure that there is harmony between the motorcycle and then the police authority and all relevant authorities will go ahead and do that. We also present the petition to our youth ministry. Because now the Excellency John Dramani Mahama has established a youth ministry, which is the Ministry for Youth Development and Empowerment, to take care of some of the concerns that the youth in this country are going through. And our national youth organizer is even the current minister for the youth ministry. And I can recall, as one of our manifesto promise was to make sure that Okada business is legalized. And His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is committed to this. And I want to assure you that whatever that we are supposed to do to make sure that it is legalized, all the LI 128 that has been laid in Parliament, we will liaise with our Member of Parliament, we will liaise with the Majority Leader and the Speaker of Parliament, so that they will expedite the action as quickly as possible, so that when all these LI and regulations are set I think some of these things will not become a problem, and then all of us will have a good working relationship.
Authority nso ti omo hugu montene mu a no ya afie nyane ne mpotem mu no won kramantem he ya ne nyina no eye ko bi omo eye mattress ne ho nkro no ba no na chese eti omo na so a ye chirima ne ma hodo omo keka bomu e de ye mattress ne ma ye timemufo ni bi nso ye kotoda so no enya ade se de apomuden ma party mi bre ye nipadua no ene nam so mo gina omo nam so waka kopie mu ha ne nyina no omo chese omo ba be hwe mamra no etimi aye adwuma mu amane bono say anything
enye ene na estati estati car mattress ho asem wo Ghana ha achepa ha ayi sometime back crime say yeba be lucky bi num ne ade efri ho no ye ne omo edi nkomo atry ya ye ne ayo say ye bia say ye be so omo nsem na ya bo omo na ya tro omo kwan pa e wo so omo fa so e de ye mattress a wo da so a enkofa nsunsanso boni bia enfam dan be maw na emum se sankomo ya ye ne omo edi ne nyoma ya ye ne yakọ emu na se o se ye na ye de bo omo nyina echi no nkrofo ahye omutimu po se bonia na omo beye se mattress no ne enye no enoa na se de ye be produce na ye di egu krum se Ghana for ye nto na ye use na ye nya problem nti enne ye bae a ye se papa anya hwe abone so nya hwe kasa ye ne omo aka nyina na emu a pese ye de bo omo nyina echi no omo decide say bone na omo pese omo ye nti enne ye bae a in the interest of Ghana for nyina no I will say ye make sure say side way enya de a ebetumi akoso say susuan pa so omo pese omo fa kwan papa so ede yanka from last year you start year ye ne omo akasa all the way to the level cry say even minister cry bim any omo aba be kasa ya ye meetings ni ade because enye say ye free tea preoccupy na ye ba be lucky factory there be ye nya dwuma sa because enye den Ghana for na oma form etu omo ka ne ade edwuma ne ade nso edwuma pa na ye hwehwe wontumi nya edwuma na nka say o me fa nipa ntie ne me fa nipa 100 na me kumba 20 a eye at the end of the day no me tua nipa 80 ka ye nya sa nipa nkwa ho hia pa nti ene na epia ye ma ya ba ne say very clear at this point say nkrofo we decide pa say business papa your friend business papa de nya dia ye be bi wo krom ha say nti yes so as aban no ye ni choice bia than to close them na fe no omkoda dwen who decide say ye be business papa ye be produce product a enkofa or how bia fam brain pa yes so ye be boom so from last year ya try ye hu nya ye be biem because Ghana ni ba ku wu a Ghana fo nyina na mo beti esi so say na mo wo ho say mo be protect ye nti watchman na ya fa mo say mo nhwe ye no ye da mo so mada ye ntumi so enye sa nti ene ye ba ya edwuma emrade a hye ye say ye enye no enu nti na ya ba no
se no asem no say ketere se eye chen dodo nra nye se wo fa Ghana fo bebra ma o medwuma nti na ne ma wo ye ensen fatade apomuden ehun se metoto form na toto na se na nya de so mbe so subscribe nti ye Ghana Standard Authority o musi free eye afia nyane ne potremu de course so ewo ho no ye nyina so na ye dan ne ye ba ye kwoto aso ewo edwedie ensem Yet was we Jadian Semu Ediama or Deputy Minority Whip, Mrashe Bedeferi, Munya for Jerry Shaib Ahmed. One also Akasa and Semno, or Twamane, Edom Kessium, Mrashe Bedefi, say, Neya, ye see the Naho the Intimia Kosra, Yen Finchane Dusia, Naye Kaka drain, Pempenswa, ye free baby, Abedruni baby, a ko we seek a semono. As it appears, senior as the rempem will be Juan Kayen found comma and Kaneman Penny, Nanado Danko Kufado. Sans or no swab on whom or ye pa was our kind of senior better now shown ye see no that they need to tell me a pie nay, and a dollar no cray quan, and yasem keto cry tea. Ye was it be a yen giant say a day shama a quama and this amenu conemum no, yen danny be and found comma and Kaneman Penny, Nanado Danko Ekufado.
People have done well. Let's commend them. And I want to look at it from the angle that whoever has contributed to the proper evolution of the city must be commended. They must be celebrated. I think we have a list of names. Yes, President Mama is one of them. Anybody who has been a president since the inception of the city should be commended. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who has been the president of the Republic of Ghana for 8 years, is a major contributor of the stability of the city. And when they are talking Odorodi Odoma, you are saying that Akufo-Addo has not done what?
Yejina so ne de dwede ensem no esi na yadan ye ne ba ye boewra enigide ensem. Yet was so near you and something now when Nijidi Mudia ye quala tamino emu. Na nyumtuni ba kwa watu nyumache ye pa ewo sampo temu hone brono ni afi krone shono eye two face idibia na ye boni dindia ene ni dimba ku bejentre ha pa African queen ene obo African queen na ne no bia da nani akohwe two face anse sa anyom no echeche kowia si afa na ba bi bebra na nkofo edo enyom no epenyom ne pa yi ewo sa kwan no esu na ne dua ye ka sei ye so ye na cheso abetra to ne ntentan fidie ne so ani nyina no wo chem se wo hye enyom to adwuma ase baby o free baby abedrun baby o ko gina no nya mfinhia no eduonu enum 25 years in the music industry enum nsem no de betu fidie no mu ne mframe ma ode aseda piesie kwa ma obi a wedi nechi fiti sabre na aba bedu sam pempenso no gusu edi nechi ehwe animu se nnwom a emu ehwam na akono na efe na enika no begusu ade asom ye Nigeria man na ebi asom nkrotu ahodo e wo wiase afa na nyina no ode aseda piesie pa akọ ede masa ade hye enyina ntimi no ka se na edue de two face wo hye nnwom to ase no 25 years ni aseda no wode aba begu mframe mo de kwa ma obi a wedi nechi fisi mresant bebre na aba bedru samre yenjina ne nsemi so ye bre no enya ye be nsuo eche wotoamu a eyihwa nti edimu si na nsem eni afi dwumedi ahodo bebre na aka wo ye TV ne so no etimi ato aso edi ama ye kodia na kase boni chi aseda no ye Farmer Talent Microfinance KFM Musical Center na afi dadaba Tech Hub somo eboye tree edom mi amekenkan nsem no enanyumre de ma wedi no Afia Fosuah Oduahoma Sresrebidi from Afia Macron.